Deflecting is when you change the subject.
Yeah, but he'll never just be like, you know what, maybe I am being loud right now, or he'll just get quiet.
Mm.
And Helena and him would end up being... Helena, I think she took it a little further though when she started calling him an idiot.
Yeah.
No, but it was the way she did it.
I've seen how they go at it, yeah.
But it was what ended up happening was you saw an insecure side of him that was different. Because I think a lot of the way he argues is actually based in insecurity. But that when she called him an idiot, it was like he became a kid again briefly. And then he like totally shut down. And then like he instead of saying that was really offensive, do we really need to take it there? He was more like, really? And then like you saw a couple moments of real vulnerability. And then I think the second he started to feel it again, he just like changed it to something else and then just started talking about it again.
Yeah.
And that would have been a good moment for, I think, had my mom been there or one of the other women to... Because I think if there had been another woman there who was like, Helena, you don't really need to say that. Like, it's not, you know, it's not fair to call him an idiot. He just has a different view and we're trying to share that with him. I have a feeling he would then take them more seriously. Because then they stood up for him.
Yeah.
Like one of the other women who was there, who also was stereotypically prettier, because she's like small and cute and thin and stuff. Because it was partially because of her physicality, but she was the only person that kind of was like, well, like explain to us what you actually think, instead of just hammering at him right away.
Yeah.
Because even though they already got the gist of what he was saying, they were very upset.
Yeah.
Whereas like the other one was like, you know what? Even though I'm very uncomfortable right now, I feel like you're totally being rude. I'm going to be the bigger person and let you like rant for a second.
Yeah.
And I've done the same thing, and I find that when you do that, you get better responses.
It makes sense, yeah.
I do it when I'm decent.
I think if people feel like they're not just competing to have to win the conversation or whatever, and they're actually like, oh, this person has accepted one of my points, I can accept their points too, because it's not just like a competition or whatever,
right? Or
a game to see who's the winner.
Well, that's also to me like whenever our family does the Israel-Palestine crap, I'm like, I don't understand the point of this discussion. If everybody's point is to win.
Yeah.
And then everyone's crying now.
Was anybody even like is anybody even like pro-Israel there or whatever?
No, well, there'll be little stuff where it'll be like one person is somewhat pro-Israel, and then like everybody else is predominantly not, but then like someone will still think the Palestinians are slightly worse than the Israelis. And then what ends up happening is
who would be like pro-Israel somewhat?
It'll be certain stuff, like it'll be like we'll be doing the Passover, and then like my godmother and Susan will want to do some of it in Hebrew, and then like my mom will be like, well, if we're going to do that, then we should also do it in Palestinian, and then it'll be like, why is that necessary? And then it like turns into a whole thing.
Yeah.
And then it's like, if we really care about them, blah blah blah. But then everybody gets on their own ego trip, and it's no longer about what they said it was supposedly about.
Yeah, that sucks.
And that's, I think, what happened yesterday, where my mom actually was a lot better, but I think it stopped being about, for Victor, it didn't seem like there was, like, he also tried schooling my mom, which I thought was from a younger person to a former history English teacher who's 75 years old, and being like, well, did you know, like, there were serfs, blah, blah, blah. He didn't even really ask, he just started teaching them.
Yeah.
And that was like, you do realize this person's double your age.
Yeah.
And, you know. And
she already did know about it, no? Or
well, but even, I think when you're talking to someone who's considerably older than you.
Yeah.
And then like a hell of a lot, and you're aware of that, that's when you, even if it's a little offensive, you'd be like, oh, like, did you know about the serfs? And then she would be like, oh yeah, I did. And then you'd go, what do you know? And then they would share. But instead it's more like, let me be your teacher.
Yeah.
And then it's like, they don't need that.
Yeah.
And with me, he doesn't do it nearly as much.
Aha!
And he does it on occasion, but he rarely does it.
Yeah.
Because I tend to let him rant, and I think I let him feel okay with it with me. So then I found more often than not, like, with the ketogenic diet, he started with my mom, and he more or less called her fat.
Just yeah. I mean, he was like, you should try it or whatever, basically.
Yeah, but my mom was trying to explain to him like certain things in relation to her health. A lot of it's thyroid. It's not just that like she's just a badass because she's lazy.
Yeah.
And she was trying to explain that like certain things she has to be really careful of because of blood pressure and because of like her aneurysm, and he was kind of negating that, and so then it was just implying that my mom was just being predominantly lazy.
Yeah.
And it's like, you don't actually know these conditions well enough personally. Like, I don't care how many articles you
Yeah.
read.
I mean, I'm always offended when people talk to me about my diet in general. I think that it's not a polite subject in a way. You know?
I mean, I don't agree either, but I feel especially when it's somebody who's older than you.
Yeah. I mean, I think, I don't know, it shouldn't be a taboo subject, but it's difficult to, I feel like there's no easy way to bring it up. Or
My
whatever.
thing is, at least for him, if you could bring up how he rants and then sometimes can dominate and not hear what someone else is saying, if that was a topic that was up for honest conversation, then you can bring up the diet stuff.
I feel bad for like skinny people that are obsessed with diet because they always get in trouble with heavier people. But I don't know. I still don't approve of it, but it's like weird.
We'll also see how long his weight stays off.
Yeah.
Like, that's a bit, to me, I feel like when you're dieting and you're skinny and you used to be bigger, you have several years, in my opinion, before you can start preaching your diet.
Yeah.
Because who knows what's going to happen in like a year or something.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I'm not saying he might not keep it off, it's quite possible, but I just think anybody, I don't care who it is, including me, when I've lost weight and people are like, oh, how'd you do it? I share it with them a little bit, but like then if I want to like really give advice, I wait till it's at least been a year and a half or two.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Well, because then it's like, if I can't keep it down for several years, and it shows that like maybe I'm not the best person.
Yeah.
So I mean, like I said, I was more cool with it. Not how he handled himself with them, but I'm more cool with a lot of the ways he does stuff because we have a certain way of communicating that works for the most part.
Yeah.
But I did tell Elena when we went for a walk that I hope if he wants to be more social with people, that he learns that you can do that if you want, but it's going to be a lot more isolating.
Yeah.
And then you're not really going to learn and grow, and then other people aren't going to want to be around you as much.
Yeah.
Like long term. Like I think people find him charming short term and like at a party or something, but in terms of like actual like, you know, David's similar. The difference is David doesn't really want to be around people. And David's too lazy to kind of, he's like the quieter version of Vic, but they have a lot of similarities.
Yeah.
Because at one point, somehow it got brought up and someone was like, well, it seems like you have a lot of concepts, but you don't really have a lot of experience. And it's like, it's, you know, it's important to have experience, especially when you're talking about this stuff. And like, if you have a lot of concepts, like you're just kind of lost in your ideas. And he was like, yeah, so. And it was like, you kind of just admitted that like you don't know about half of what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Like, I think he's very book smart, and I think he's extremely savvy that way. And my mom even said that she agreed with quite a lot of what he was saying, but then she started realizing how he was dominating things, and then instead of just listening and being like, oh, you know, I've heard that before, but like, you know, I don't agree with it, and then hearing what they said, he kind of just like went in with his opinion, and like you could tell it didn't matter what anybody said, like his opinion would stay the same. And I feel like you can't have debates with people like that then.
Yeah, it makes
If
sense.
your opinion is just going to stay the same regardless, and you know that going in, then what's the point?
Yeah.
Going in for me, when I have it, I'm more like, let's just have a conversation, and I'm not thinking about, can I change my mind, or can I change your mind? I'm just expressing myself.
Yeah.
But if you end up showing me something, then I'll be like, oh wow, or I didn't know about it. And he said something to me yesterday when we were talking about, what was it? Oh, it was Trump voters, and he said something like, he was like, oh, I know why a lot of people voted for Trump, and we've actually kind of talked about this. I don't know if you forgot. And I was like, oh, well, do you know some? And he was like, no, you don't. I was like, yes, I do. And he was like, no, you don't. And I was like, all right, whatever.
He was saying you don't know why people voted for Trump.
Right, and instead of just saying like, oh,
I guess he was trying to be challenging, but
it wasn't though. It was very dismissive.
Yeah, of course.
Because it didn't even seem like he was up to really hearing why. So to me, a challenge would be like, well, why do you think that then? And then you could prove me wrong and school me because maybe I wouldn't say what you're thinking.
But he wouldn't even let you explain it.
No, and it was one of those things where, like, that's the kind of thing I think I don't care so much because I know I'll be able to explain it to him at some other point.
Yeah.
If it comes up and I know we'll have the chance. But when you're meeting new people and you're at an event and it's my mom's house, it's not that you can't say what you think because my mom really appreciates that and I know she likes it. But then if you're clearly making these women uncomfortable, it's not just about... Because I could see someone saying politics can be uncomfortable, but then there's a certain level where it's like you're making it like not just politically uncomfortable, it's like crossing a line. You know, and I think that that's something you should at least be aware of. So then if you're choosing to do that, you know, you could just be like, well, honestly, like, I feel like I should just be able to say what I say, and if you're offended, then too bad. Yeah. But then once people know that about you, most of the time they're just not going to want to talk serious stuff with you.
Yeah.
Because then it means that especially when you're in someone's house at a family thing, I think most people feel somewhat safe.
Yeah.
You know, especially, and so that's why when some of the Palestine Israel stuff happens and everybody's like crying, there's all the drama, it's a lot of it's because they went in feeling like we could have an honest conversation and now there's drama.
Right.
So it's twice as hurtful as like if it's like some random event, like with a whole bunch of people you don't know. Then I don't think it happens as much because you're like, I don't really know these people. I wasn't expecting to feel safe.
Yeah.
And just little things like he thinks like he knows how to be more social, but like it's kind of weird. It's kind of like for me, I'm not going to pretend to know tech stuff. Like so, even if I'm learning it, I'm not gonna be like I'm like, you know, the like let me do this and like I'll learn. And it's like, but if you're not like talking to other people just because you read a blog, that doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to learn the most because you're still the one trying to be in control of it.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, to me, like if somebody gives me advice, I could take it or leave it. But like, I don't really care. Like if people give me advice on tech stuff, I'd be very happy because I don't know what the fuck I'm doing, even if I read about stuff. So I'll probably talk to him about it at some point. I just don't want him to feel, and I know my mom said she was going to call him because she kind of felt bad.
Yeah.
I think she realized that, like, and he will never cop to it. That, like, I think he was hurt.
Yeah.
And I think my mom could see that, and my mom's a lot older, so that's, like, you know. She's not apologizing for what they said. I think she's just apologizing that, like, it got so intense.
Yeah.
And I hope Vic's able to, I don't think he'll be able to take it right away, but I hope he's able to see.
Yeah.
You know, where my mom's coming from.
Yeah.
I think he's a great guy in a lot of ways, and I'll still stand by that. And Helena said something that I could totally see her doing. And she was like, fine, if you really don't want to hear what I want to say and you're going to do sexist behavior, I'm going to tell, like, your future girlfriends that, like, you basically think that men and women are not equal, and then I'll let you explain it. And I can totally see her doing that. And then I could see a lot of girls not being as into him.
Does he say that? He says men and women aren't equal?
What he really means, and I don't remember the math analogy, but it was really good. What was it? It was something about...
You're saying they're not the same or whatever.
Right, and she was trying to use, like... Basically what he means is that they're different. But when you say that they're not equal, the way it really comes across is you're saying, like, men are better than women. And she was trying to use some number analogy that was trying to show, like, you know, like, are the numbers, like, different from one another, or are they equal? It was a really good analogy.
Yeah.
And he basically was just like, he basically just kept harping on the same thing over and over and over and over and over again.
That's tough. By the way, I just want to mention, you know, I'm always recording when I'm doing these, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
If you want to delete this, feel free, but if not, don't worry about it.
Alright, cool.
No, like I said, it's stuff that I want to talk to him about, in the sense that, like, it's not even having the opinion. That's like a political issue. That's not like my issue with him necessarily.
Yeah.
It's more like, if you're gonna have the views you have, I still think that, like, both me and my mom, I think people sometimes make the mistake that we're very, very open-minded, and so people just think they can come do whatever.
Yeah.
And I think for me, and my mom less so, but I'm more okay with hearing someone's, like, if I was dealing with a friend who, if Mark wanted to finally open up about his racism, I would probably let him talk a little bit first before I, like, quickly defended, you know, or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, if he was,
but
like,
you don't think he's like, I mean, he's not like, that's not the reason that you keep your distance from him somewhat. I mean,
no,
exactly. It's like, it's not like his racism is that bad. Like, he is, I mean, he's not like racist. He's just normal white guy racist,
no,
right?
he's just also a lot more into himself.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Like, that's more of what it is. But, like, when I was very sensitive about all the shootings that were happening and being publicized, and
he just doesn't want to talk about it. Yeah.
And he came home and he was like, "Oh my God, again?"
Yeah.
And it was just like, really?
Thank you.
Like, how about again another white person, like, complaining about how this is an annoying conversation? How about that?
Yeah.
And then he was just like, ugh. And they were like, "Oh my God, how can you do that kind of reaction?"
He's so terrible.
People being, like, shot in the street and, like, being arrested unfairly. Like, that's clearly
I guess he's a little bit worse than. I mean, if I think for New York, he's a little bit worse than average, but, like, there's a lot of people like that, a lot of white people like that. I mean, I think you find less of them in Harlem, obviously.
But yeah, that's why it was extra funny. Living in a 6'4" walk-up in, like, a very small apartment.
Yeah, he has, like, Upper East Side attitude.
But, like, while being...
Yeah.
Like, in 145th and out of Clinton Powell on a 6'4" walk-up.
Yeah.
But I do plan to talk to Vic at least a little bit. Like, I'm curious to hear what
the heck?
My mom said to him.
How am I? Do you see that?
That reminds me of my last hookup.
What a pain in the ass. Your hookup sounds terrible.
Vic is still a really, really cool guy.
Yeah.
And I still care about him a lot. But I want him to just know for himself. Because...
Yeah.